How's it, guys?
Hi, everybody.
It is beep. It's flippin' cold. I spat a little bit, but it's really cold.
Yeah, we had frost again this morning.
Yeah,
It's like minus 0.5.
I didn't want to get up. Got a lot to do, but the sun is coming out, so that's great.
Yeah, we're gonna warm up quick
Pretty
sticks.
soon. But we thought we'd
We're gonna answer some questions today.
tackle some of these. We might not get through all of them. There's a
No,
lot of questions.
We got a lot. Thank you. You guys are awesome. And
Keep them coming.
Keep
We
asking.
actually don't mind. We'll
Yeah.
keep doing it. Super chilled.
yeah. Okay, shall we get into it?
Until it gets weird, then we're gonna stop.
Yeah. Yeah. So our first
Let's
question
get into it. We're stealing a tagline from another
from Mark.
from Mark from
Self-sufficient me.
Self-Sufficient
Yeah,
Me.
he's a cool guy. Go watch him.
Yeah. Mark.
So, somebody named Nkuli D'Souza, lovely lady on YouTube, asked us, what do we do for income?
No. A lot actually.
Yeah. We've been doing a lot for a couple of years now.
Yeah. When we started, we went out of our way to find online options. So we actually had quite a few online things that we did.
Mm-hmm.
I personally do art. I do pet portraits. That kept us going often.
Yes. Got us through a couple of
throughout.
months.
Yeah. So we started our Sorry, I'm going into a different thing now. But we've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
It's just that this is our new home. But yeah, I do art. I like also making things randomly. So like,
Yeah.
also odd jobs here and there.
And this year we
This-
started.
yeah.
This year, for the first time in quite a few years, this year we have a very stable income. And that is that we teach music lessons here in the area.
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
So yeah, those of you that don't know, we're both musicians.
Yeah.
Mika's from a
Very classical,
very classical
background.
background, and mine's from a very much not classical background, very self-taught and alternative vibes. But yeah, we make a cool team,
Yeah.
and we actually worked on a really cool kiddies project together, called Music Sprouts, and we just absolutely fell in love with what we were doing when we were preparing it, and then suddenly just had a whole bunch of kids signing up, and yeah, we're really stoked to do that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And then we also obviously we do private lessons as well. So Mika's got a whole range of instruments that she teaches. I'm only doing guitar at the moment. I'm not sure yet if I'll carry on, if I'll do any more instruments at a later stage.
Yeah.
But at the very least, I'm learning all the instruments that. Bless you! How rude! How rude, Kajari. I'm also learning all the instruments that Mika's teaching. So inevitably, I'll be able to play them all. I can play some already.
You can, yeah. And also we sell seeds.
We sell
So
seeds,
we-
which is also one we've been doing for a long time.
Yeah, we've been growing lots of food for a couple of years, and we love saving seeds. And last year we started selling them on our website, which at the moment is under construction.
Yeah.
But the shop will be back online very soon, just in time for spring. So you guys will be able to order quite a lot of cool seeds from us.
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled for when we re-release the website, because it's going to be brand new as well. So
Yeah.
it won't be the same website that we had before, which was awesome, by the way. But yeah. it's
Okay,
a
next
bunch of
question. Lots of people asked about our water harvesting system. How big are our water tanks, and what kind of water catchment do we get? So right now, our roof is 9 square meters, which means that for 1 mil of rain, we can catch 9 liters of water. And we, at the moment, are set up with 2 blue drums, which are each 220 liters.
Yeah, but we call it 200 because I stopped their level at just a little bit lower down. So we've got about 400 liters of catchment at the moment.
Storage at the moment.
Is it not the same?
No, because catchment is what we get on the roof.
Oh.
Storage is how much we're keeping.
Do you guys know the catchment sum? It's pretty cool. It's
Yeah.
actually quite easy to remember. That for each square meter of roof that you have catching water, it is a liter per mole.
Per mole of rain.
So it's pretty cool to know that.
It's a very cool sum. Yeah,
You
it
can
helps.
actually work out how much water you're going to get. And ours was exact the other day. So
Yeah.
it's really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the moment, the setup you guys will see, there's actually a very recent video where I actually talk a little bit about our setup. It's very much temporary at the moment because we will be putting a extension of it on. It'll move to the back of the house. Also because it's so that it's out of the sun and everything. It's just that we didn't want to not have something in the meantime.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to sort ourselves up in the meantime because we were so eager to get here.
Yeah. Can't wait. I think that covers it.
I hope that answers your question. But it's very much just rain, water from the sky that falls on the roof and goes into a tank.
Yeah.
It's
Simple.
not much more to it. Yeah. And if you're wondering whether that is safe, a very famous permaculturist once told me that if you're not happy, if you don't feel safe drinking water from the sky, you shouldn't feel safe breathing.
That is very true.
Yeah, but it also helps that if there's nothing above your roof,
No trees or things
no
like
trees
that.
and stuff like that.
Okay, Lauren Campbell asked us, how do we cope without a fridge? We have not had a fridge since 2020,
Yeah, yeah,
and we love it. A fridge or a freezer.
yeah. None of that. It's actually funny because we thought it was going to be a lot harder,
Yeah.
and it wasn't.
When it's not there, you suddenly realize that everything you're putting in the fridge doesn't really need to be there.
And a lot of times you're putting stuff in the fridge just to get moldy.
Yeah.
Like it's just gonna sit there because you're gonna forget it. We forgot. When we used the fridge after that, if we were staying at someone's house, we forgot that there was stuff in the fridge.
Yeah. Can you stop
We're like,
eating my
"Oh,
hand?
wow, we still have this.
Thank you. But there's actually also a lot of research done that putting certain fruits and vegetables in the fridge actually shortens their lifespan. Like it breaks up the molecules and they go rotten faster.
Yeah, it's scary to see actually.
Yeah.
Because we were out of fridge for a long time and then stayed with some family and some friends at some point and had put stuff in the fridge and then realized that it smelled funny.
Yeah.
It didn't smell very nice and also it didn't last. So for us, first of all fruits and vegetables are very happy outside of a fridge.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't put those in a fridge anyway.
We just have a little basket that we keep
Yeah,
them in
we've
until
got
we
a
use them.
fruit and veg basket. And also what we noticed was if you've cut something open, normally that would also be something that goes in the fridge because it's
Yep.
been cut. We noticed that actually leaving it unsealed without anything over it outside, it creates its own seal.
Yeah.
So then all you do is when you're ready for your next meal, you can cut you thinly slice that top part of the seal off, and then you've got a fresh
Yeah.
fruit, vegetable, whatever it is. And we've experimented that with a couple of different things, and it works really well. Whereas pumpkins and butternuts, that kind of stuff goes mushy in the fridge.
Yeah.
It doesn't do that when you leave it outside.
And then I think another big one is that we don't eat meat, and we haven't for a long time.
Yeah, that'll
and
do
so
it.
that makes things a lot easier already, because if you're a meat eater, you do need a freezer or something to store your stuff in, unless you're going to the shop every 2 days.
Which also, it's a practical.
Yeah.
It's very practical for us to not be meat eaters.
Yes, because we want to inevitably be able to grow everything that we eat. And yeah, we're not super keen to grow animals.
So the other thing is also we always in our house, like at the moment our food storage is here, we find the coldest corner of the house.
Yeah.
And we've actually always had a little cupboard or something in the coldest corner of the house that we would keep, like if we want to ferment stuff or whatever that needs slightly cooler temperature, it would go in there, and you'd be really surprised how cold things stay
Yeah.
if you put them in the coldest part of the house.
Which is usually either the south corner or the southeast corner.
So at the moment, our stuff gets so cold here sometimes that the other day...
the tomatoes had condensation
yeah,
on them as if they'd come out of the fridge. It was crazy.
Really, really interesting to see. So it's doable. There's also, if you're not comfortable with just leaving it the way we do, there's so many other options. There's for fridges that you can do naturally, just by the way. Just do some research. That's the biggest thing. Do some research.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, Mandy asked us, did our plants survive the frost? Yes,
Which
they
one?
did. That first frost that hit the peppers, thankfully they all did survive. However, we got frost again this morning. Again, very fortunately, it didn't hit the peppers. But seemingly there will be a few more frosts throughout September, so we'll keep you posted.
You're really good at it, though. You're really good at preventing the...
Thank you. We're having to adapt to this climate. This is our first winter being in this area, and it's quite unpredictable. We're not used to dealing with frost, so I think we'll have to adapt some of our growing sort of things over the next couple of years and see how we can actually make the frost work to our advantage.
I just thought about something, sorry, on the topic of the fridges. In terms of storage, we've taken a lot of time to find the right stuff to grow that can actually be preserved.
It's very true.
In the ground.
Yeah.
So like a lot of times you have a whole bunch of stuff that then needs to go somewhere to be stored. And our mission has been to find things that we can grow that is either perennial, so it's always growing, or like, always going, and things that can be kept in the ground, stored in the ground, of which sweet potatoes is a huge one.
Yeah.
So we don't do mass harvests. We only harvest what we need when we need it.
And then also to stagger planting for the things that do all come to fruition at one time. You stagger your planting so that you're just harvesting a little bit continuously throughout the season.
Which is something we've been working on extensively, and we very much know how we want to do that, and it's all in line with prolonging our food kind of production throughout the time, so that we don't have to worry about storing a whole bunch of stuff and then risking losing everything.
Okay, next one. Duncan asked us, Chanel, your DIY skills, where did you learn all of them? Is it prior training, YouTube and a can-do attitude, or just common sense?
Mostly just common sense.
That's an interesting question.
It is, because I actually don't think... I've never been asked that before, and I actually really appreciate that.
And Chanel can do anything.
You know what? It is very much a can-do attitude, because before I struggled a lot, and it's because I was convinced that... not convinced, but I was told a lot that I either wasn't supposed to or can't do stuff. And the minute I decided to just live for myself and not for anyone else's expectations, I changed my attitude in how I did things, which was very close to the time Mick and I met. And then it became, I can do anything. And the minute I decided that I can do anything, I started being able to do anything.
Pretty
so
much.
It is very much an attitude thing. But yeah, I've spent a lot of time, I've wanted and liked building and making things my entire life since I can remember. It's what labeled me a crafts person most of my life, because I like to make things. But I've actually always liked doing things myself and not depending on someone else to do it for me. I liked figuring things out myself. It was often very difficult, because a lot of people tend to not let someone learn. There's a lot of people telling people how to do things, but not a lot of people letting people learn.
Yeah.
So I did it myself in my own time without anyone watching, because the minute someone is watching, they're correcting you. They're telling you
It has to be this way.
You can't do this. You can't. No, you
You
can't
need
do
to
it
use
that
this
way.
tool.
And then if you do it that way, you don't. It's the same as a kid. You don't personally get the opportunity to learn. So I think my advice would be, just do it and make mistakes and mess it up and don't worry about it because it's for you. So don't worry about it. And then take like extra special care into learning from those experiments. I call them experiments. I'll tell Miko every now and then, I've got an experiment I'm going to try.
I've got an idea.
Yeah, I'm going to try something. Let's see if it works.
And then just bear with me.
Yeah.
Just wait. You'll see.
So, yeah. But just if you're keen to learn something, just look it up. I mean, I learn a lot of stuff from YouTube. I learn a lot of stuff from research. There's actually a page I like to visit called Instructables. That's very cool. They're very, very thorough in their explanations, in telling you and helping you how to do things. They build things there, and then people share their building ideas on there. So that's definitely a place I would recommend checking out as well.
Awesome. And then a lot of people asked us about our solar setup. Currently, what is our panel size, our battery capacity, and what can we run from that?
You want me to answer it?
I mean, I can give the basics. We have one panel. How big is it?
It is a 290 watt.
Okay, so there you go. And we have two batteries.
They're
100 amp hour batteries?
105 amp, yeah.
Okay, and we have an inverter, which is something.
The inverter is a 24 volt Mesa inverter. It's a very good inverter. Thanks to my cousin, he hooked us up with that one. And we have a charge controller as well.
Yes.
So currently we're running it on a 24 volt system. So basically the two batteries are paralleled. No, they're series.
They're in series.
So we've got two batteries, two 12 volt batteries. And then the inverter, we only, that's all we've got. I do have a separate, smaller, very small battery and small 50 amp solar panel that actually runs our one light at the moment because I haven't hooked anything else up.
And we have a lot of rechargeable torches.
And we actually just got gifted another solar panel. I forgot about that. But we're not using that. That system is very much kind of a backup system. Yeah. In fact, it might end up being what I use in my workshop in future. So it's not really running anything at the moment. It's just sometimes we have a light from it. But other than that, we use a lot of rechargeable stuff.
USB rechargeable stuff.
A lot of USB rechargeable stuff. Yeah. So torches are pretty much what keep us going through the night.
We've got 4 of them. 4 little
rechargeable torches, headlamps and torches. What we run from there directly without the inverter. So the inverter doesn't come on unless it's necessary.
Yeah.
So without the inverter, we've got 2 little USB ports. They're similar to what you'll see in your car. Same as a car charger. So I've got a little port like that. You can buy them pretty cheap. So it's got 2 ports for us, so we can charge anytime.
Yeah. Straight. Our phones and all the little
all our lights and stuff, and our Wi-Fi. Our Wi-Fi is also USB rechargeable. And other than that, when we need power, the inverter is very powerful. So I can run any of my power tools on there. We've got a little blender that we sometimes, similar to a little bullet, that we like to use sometimes. We've got a hand blender that we like to use for soup sometimes.
And we try to make sure only to switch the inverter on if the sun is actually shining so that we don't drain the batteries.
Yeah, so that's a very crucial point. Thanks for that.
It's quite a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle thing.
Yeah, but it for us it's not hard. We've been doing it for such a long time, so it's really, we're just used to it.
So it's very small and very basic, but it gets us by.
Yeah, and once again, the main thing is just using the inverter only when we need it. It's not constantly running, and that's a huge one. In fact, it was a huge, lightning moment when we started doing that. We were like, this makes so much more sense than it just running the whole time, because it would just drain the battery because it takes just power to be on.
Yeah.
So we just turn it on when we need it, and so far we're pretty comfortable.
Yeah. I think that's it. Okay, here's a great question. What was the cost of our tiny house overall? You have a gift for frugality and being inventive, so I'm curious what the bill ended up being.
Sure. You've got the sums.
I have the sums. So what we did was, our house is built completely out of salvaged materials, including the screws and everything. We didn't buy anything new.
They weren't wonky screws. They're very good condition screws.
Yeah.
They just happen to be pre-owned.
Yeah. So nothing was bought new. It was all salvaged. We have a timber frame, and then the house is largely made out of garage doors and old zinc plates.
Yeah.
The rest of it.
The beauty though of this house is that it is 100% our own design.
Yeah.
And man, we spent hours on it to make it functional for what we
Can
need.
you not eat the book, please? Thank you.
And the wood we came across, the structural timber is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very solid. It's aged, so it has some decent strength to it. Our number one thing, by the way, the poles, the structural poles that we put in the beginning, those are not second
You're
hand.
right, those are brand new.
So those are, and they were a big one for me. I was definitely convinced that I wanted the structural poles to run all the way through the house, right to the top.
Yeah.
And I am grateful for that, because I don't think, if I didn't do that, I don't think this house would have survived the winds we had.
This weekend, yeah.
And I'm not even joking. I legit, if we didn't do what we did, I am not sure this house would have been strong enough.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very thought through is all I wanted to say.
The house was built with strength in mind and durability. So it is strong and stable, and it's going to last us a long time. So the cost of the shell, the structure itself, just the structure of the tiny house, actually is exactly approximately
About 19.
19,160.
Yeah. So we did some sums. So that's timber, walls, screws.
Yeah.
And
the
windows, floors. But yes, everything that is part of the structure itself. Yeah, that's where we're at. If with the quotes that we were getting, because we got a lot of quotes to compare, for the sake of knowing what we would have paid. And it is, you won't believe the difference. It's insane. We wouldn't have been able to afford a new, but I'm so happy we didn't anyway, because it's so much more who we are to do it this way.
And also, you say we wouldn't have been able to afford the new things, but at the same time we sunk everything that we had.
Well, we're actually not. I mean, this isn't paid. I mean, it's not all paid up. We've got some serious debt. Well, serious for us. For us, this is very serious debt that we need to sort out. But we've got a good plan, and we should be. It shouldn't be more than a year that
to get everything paid off.
Yeah. So
we made a couple of sacrifices, but for us it was very worth it to do it the way that we felt strongly to do it.
Yeah, and a lot of people suggested at the time to just buy a Wendy house, and it's just, not only do I not trust the strength of a Wendy house, but it isn't. We wouldn't have been able to do this. We wouldn't have been able to do this exact thing that we wanted to do.
Wendy houses are cheap. Financially, but also in quality.
Yeah,
and they are not made to last.
They're fine. They're fine for all the things that they're made for. They're great for that. It's just that we were looking for something that we could live in for at least the next 10 years. You know, that would hold, and that we can do our way, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I'm not here to excuse our reasoning for not using a Wendy house, because we just didn't want to. Also, the wood, I don't know, there are many reasons. I don't like them. Just say that.
Fair enough. So that's, there you go. That was that answer. Okay. How do you deal, this is also from Duncan. Great questions, Duncan.
Duncan, you're great, by the way.
How do you deal with making mistakes and getting things wrong? Do you rebuild and just live with it? Or do you not make mistakes in the first place?
Do you rebuild, live with it, or just not make mistakes?
Yes, 3 options.
I would love to say don't make mistakes in the first place, but it isn't. That's not possible.
When you're doing things yourself, you're gonna make
Mistakes will
That's
happen.
how you learn.
Invite the mistakes, Duncan. Invite the mistakes, because they are where you learn from. 100%. I personally, if I've done something and it's a muck up, I redo it. I do more research and I try again. It's happened many times where even the water catchment that I set up, I had to do it twice because I didn't level the tank properly. And it's just not going to work like that. So then I do it again. And it sucks sometimes. It's like really annoying because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's up to you how you're going to deal with that.
Yeah. But yes, we make lots of mistakes.
Yeah.
Both of us, all the time.
Make mistakes. Make mistakes. Do it.
Yeah. Grant asked, what are our backgrounds? Do we have previous occupations or have we done any studies? So mine is fairly simple. Straight from high school, I started a career as a music teacher. And that's really the only occupation I've ever had. I did start a degree. Oh, you've got tea. I did start a degree in music at a university, but for various reasons was unable to complete it.
Financial reasons.
Well, yeah, and my mom died. So, but sorrows. But I love music and I've loved teaching, and it was actually the only thing I wanted to do besides growing things. So I was very fortunate to have a job and a career in something that I genuinely enjoyed. That's me. Simple. Chanel. Chanel
we don't have enough time.
Chanel has done probably every occupation that exists. You have been in various industries, many jobs, learned lots of trades since you were 15.
Let's start from the beginning. I didn't finish school. I quit. I quit school at a very young age. What is it?
You were 14.
15.
Yeah.
15? 14?
Yeah, grade 9.
Yeah, honestly, I felt very underwhelmed, and I really just felt like I was wasting time.
And money.
Yeah. So spoke to my folks at the time. They obviously weren't stoked about it, but very supportive. I'm very grateful to have had supportive parents. I tried online, not online. Geez,
Correspondence.
Online had just begun.
Yeah.
It was like online was like a new thing. It wasn't even really online. It was a correspondence. I tried it for a little while. It didn't work out. But what I did start doing immediately was I was a goldsmith's apprentice. It was my first job, or my first thing that I did. And very soon after, or / at the same time, I did a sports program for kids called Playball. I don't know if some of you will know about it. I did it for a very short time though, but it was really cool. It ignited my kind of hunger for just wanting to learn as much as I can in as many different areas as I could. So working with kids was awesome. I was such a shy kid though. It was terrifying to be around so many kids that were like expect you to do something. But yeah, I started working as early as that, and from there I just went on. I did a painting contract in Durban. I did a lot of bar work because easy money.
A lot of retail.
I did a lot of retail. I did a lot of music stuff, doing sound, doing events. I started a little music scout program also, and I've always loved music and making music and being around other musicians and mentoring
young musicians.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. It's something that kind of always happened naturally for me. Was finding people that were musicians but like super shy and not super keen to play really because they weren't ready. And I've always just somehow been like, oh, I'll jam with you and let's try something. And then we do a song and the next thing you know, they're just playing. So that's something that's always passionately kind of been there. and yeah, a whole bunch of other jobs in between. Then one of my favorite, more recent jobs was working at a sound company where I learned a lot about repairing instruments and doing and more about sound. And I was a manager. I was a manager of most of the companies I worked for. Worked my way up every time. I don't mind working. I've always been a very hard worker. In fact, so much so that I decided it had to be a huge decision to stop working for other people and to start working for myself, which was my last occupation before we set off. Was I had started my own piercing shop business. So that was what I was doing when we decided to make our first move.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I had been open for 2 months, and COVID
shut
came,
you down.
so I couldn't operate anyway. So
Yeah.
it's just how it is. But it was a very successful, very good business, and I was very, very happy to have made that leap finally in my life. So yeah, was that the question?
That was the question.
I tend to go off topic sometimes.
And then Grant also asked us, what did you leave behind to live a free life? I can honestly say absolutely nothing.
Yeah, no, it was all.
There were no hard decisions choosing to leave something behind in terms of what we had to sacrifice or anything like that. I feel like making the decision to live a free life, which is a very great way to put it, all we've just gained.
Yeah, tons. The amount of experience I've gained in this is more than what I have throughout my life. Although a lot of that has helped me to do a lot of this. It's definitely the amount that you learn the way we did. We plunged into it.
Yeah, deep end.
There's so much to learn, but it's so exciting because it's new. Every day is something new, so it's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't feel like I left anything behind at all. We found each other, and we were all we
needed.
So it was good.
Paula asked, how will you keep Kajari out of the garden? That is a great question, because she has no sense of boundary.
Yeah.
Not a single. She will just plunge through everything.
She's a rescue from a like an area where she didn't really have boundaries.
Yeah.
So.
But the answer to that is how we teach her everything else, which is training.
A lot.
She is in training 24/7, to the point that we weigh out her food in the mornings and we feed her that throughout the day. In training, yeah. So she gets treated all the time for all the good things that she does. We work with her constantly, and the plan is that we will teach her where she can and can't go.
She's sorry to interrupt, but she's very teachable. Yeah. She's incredibly. I mean, we just taught her to stand, which is actually a weird command, because not many people teach their dogs that. It's an in between sitting and lying down.
Yeah.
And then just being just like, there's a different one. Yeah. And she got it in 2 sessions.
Yeah. Yeah. No, she's very intelligent, but also willing to learn. And she has that desire to learn, which some dogs are highly intelligent, but they don't want to. They know that they can do the things, so they're not going to show you.
She's a smarty pants, though.
What's the matter?
There must be guinea fowl around.
Can you smell the guineas?
Shame. She loves guinea fowl.
Sue Ellen asked us, where did we get that awesome shower pump?
Take a lot.
Take a lot.
Did we get our first one there as well?
Yep.
Yeah. So we were looking for something else one day. So we had the 12-volt one, which actually it comes with a car lighter adapter that you put in your car lighter. That's how the original one was. Yeah. And then we just came across this rechargeable one the one day, and we were like, oh wow, this is way cooler.
So much better. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if it's still on there, but this was.
It's basically a camping shower.
It's a camp shower. Pretty much. Yeah. It was about 3 years ago that we bought that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, just gonna have to just do some shopping. Otherwise, probably you'll find it at some outdoor places.
And then the last question we have for now is from Anita. She asked, how do you go about food preservation off-grid?
Oh, shoot, I already answered that. Kinda.
Kinda. So obviously we don't have a fridge or a freezer. Since we started this journey, we've tried out all the different methods in terms of, we've dabbled in canning, we've tried pickling things, we've tried fermenting, kajari.
Come here.
We've done some drying. And quite honestly, our favorites that we're keen to really get back into is drying and powdering things, herbs and spices, even some veggies.
Joey, lie down.
We love making... Wait for it.
Lie down.
She's ready to play.
Joey, lie down.
Thank
you.
One of our favorite things to make is what we call green powder, which is really just harvesting any and all greens we have in the garden that are edible, drying them and powdering them, and then you add that to all of your food.
I must send gratitude to Veronique.
Yes.
Because she was the first person, Veronique from Little Big Tree
Farm.
Is it the right way?
It's Little Big Tree Farm.
We visited her a while ago, and she gave us a little container of green powder, and it was for her. It was just spinach powder, and man, it was so cool. We just put it on everything, and since then we've started our own kind of more mixed up green powder.
Whatever we've got available.
Yeah, anything and everything, and we've tried a couple of, including carrot greens, a couple of different ones.
So our favorite preservation going forward, and what we will continue to do, will be drying and powdering, definitely fermenting, and pickling.
Love fermenting. I love fermented and pickled food. It's my
so
favorite.
do I, actually. And then we've water bath canning a couple of things, but that's sort of the minority.
Yeah, tomato season.
Yeah, pretty much. Tomatoes. That's tomatoes, salsa, that kind of thing. Kajari, she's ready to go outside. We're gonna go soon.
Soon, baby.
But yeah, that's actually everything. Yay!
Really?
We got through all of them.
Oh well, yeah. All of the right now ones.
Yes. If you guys ask us enough questions, we'll do another Q&A video.
We get a lot of questions, so I think we should do a lot of videos.
Yes. That's it for today. It's time to get to work.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for watching this whole long video.
If you have, thanks very much.
And,
by the way, I'd like to add, your subscriptions mean a lot.
Yes.
Please keep subscribing, and please share our channel and get your friends and family to subscribe. We're going to keep pushing out content.
Yes.
We want to chat to you guys as often as we can and let you in on what we're going through, and the hardships as well sometimes, if there are any, which we won't have any.
No hardships.
But yeah, please subscribe, please like, please comment. All of that stuff really helps us a lot. It means a lot, so keep doing that.
And we appreciate you guys, and thank you so much for all of your support. I think we have the best followers. We love you guys a lot, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.